Now that the Raspberry Pi 5 is out and everyone is scrambling to be one of the first to try it out, the Raspberry Pi 4 has all of a sudden become very available and affordable. And the situation has reopened opportunities for me to continue with my projects for the Raspberry Pi 4. I will begin with installing Home Assistant. Home Assistant is open source home automation that focuses on local control and privacy first. It allows users to integrate and control various smart devices and services within your home. It supports a wide range of devices and platforms, making it possible for users to automate tasks, monitor different sensors, and create home automation scenarios. With Home Assistant, users can create automations to define rules and conditions for devices to interact with each other. It provides a web-based interface as well as an app for mobile devices that users can use to monitor and control the user's smart home devices. Home Assistant can also integrate with Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant, allowing users to control devices with their voice. Home Assistant will help me control my IoT devices and integrate these devices with automation. Home Assistant is home automation in a box. It puts control of all your devices right at your fingertips. Plus, since I will be installing Home Assistant on my Raspberry Pi, I am keeping data that's exposed to a minimum. With Home Assistant, installing third-party apps on my phone to control my devices is not even needed. You don't need to go through installing and setting up different apps for different devices. There are different options we can choose how we want to install Home Assistant. We can virtualize Home Assistant on Proxmox or VirtualBox, or we can install it as a Docker container, or we can install it on bare metal. I chose to use the Raspberry Pi 4. To set up Home Assistant on the Raspberry Pi, all we need is the Raspberry Pi and the microSD card and the Raspberry Pi imager, as it already has the Home Assistant image ready to be written. Go to Raspberry Pi imager, choose OS, then go to Other Specific Purpose OS, then Home Assistant, then Home Assistant. Choose the version for your specific Raspberry Pi. Make sure to use a microSD card that's durable. From experience, the microSD card is usually the first to go on a Raspberry Pi setup. Or better yet, you can set up the Raspberry Pi 4 to boot from USB. Once it's done writing, plug it into your Raspberry Pi, connect it to the LAN, and then boot. Search for the IP to log into, or point your browser to homeassistant.local, port 8123. On the Setup Wizard, enter your name, username, your password, then confirm password. Click Create Account. Set up your home location by dragging the pin to your location on the map, or you can type in your address on the search bar. Once done, click Next. Pick the country for your location. Then choose what data you wish to share with Home Assistant. For more information on how data is being used, you can click on the hyperlink, How to Process Your Data. I will not enable any of these for now. Here we immediately see devices that are compatible. Just click on Finish. If there's any extra configuration needed, you can revisit by going to Device Settings. To configure devices that have been discovered, you can go to Notifications and then follow the prompts, or go to Settings, then go to Devices and Services. Select the device, then click on Configure. Create an area or add a new area for your device. Here I selected top floor. Setting up other devices can be done the same way, while some would require a one-time setup fee and API key. It should be worth it. Let's try to create an automation. Let's go to Settings, then Automations and Scenes. Click on Create Automation, then Create New Automation. For triggers, this will tell Home Assistant when to run the automation. So add trigger. Trigger can be calendar for triggers based on a specific date, There's also other triggers such as another device, geolocation, event, state or time, and so on. For the one we're creating, we will use sun. So I'm going to turn on the kitchen lights automatically at sunset and then turn it off at a specific time. So event is sunset. We can add an offset value, meaning we can turn on the lights 30 minutes or an hour before or after sunset. We'll just leave it blank so lights turn on exactly at sunset. We can add another trigger or conditions for more complicated automations, sort of adding an argument to the trigger. Then for action, we'll select the device we want to turn on, in this case, the kitchen lights. Then action would be turn on kitchen. If everything looks good, hit save. Give a name for your new automation, turn on kitchen, then add a description, just in case we forget, hit save, then hit run. Now we want to add another automation to turn off the lights we just automated. Since we're automating using the same device, we can just click duplicate and just make changes to the triggers and actions. The trigger for turning off the lights would be based on time. Delete a trigger, then add a new trigger using time. Let's say at 12 a.m. Then for action, select kitchen. Then turn off kitchen. Add a new name and description, then save. Then hit run. Now both automations are running. This is just an example of a simple automation. Automating other devices would be similar to the steps we went through, and I would suggest you try them out, as automating is one of the more exciting things for Home Assistant. Seeing devices communicate or interact with each other successfully is very satisfying. Home Assistant is easy to install, configure, and use. I can't believe I did not use it sooner. I did install it before on Docker, but I ran into issues with device discovery. I did not bother to figure it out and just moved on to other projects. It turns out if I had just kept Home Assistant on the same network as my IoT devices, everything would have been fine. Another lesson learned: don't give up on a good idea or project and just keep trying. I hope you liked this video and it has helped you in some way. Please like and subscribe if it has. Thank you for watching.